a community another name for a group? Is a community a different thing to a group?
If you got kind of one or two people together and you said, all right, these are a community, I don't reckon that'd be a community. I think a community is more like people who are near each other all the time, like live near each other or something.
What we need to get a community together is to help each other, and we only really need people and their cooperation from them. And they know each other. There can't be a lot of just strangers go up and say, well, do you want to be in my community?
Warrnambool's a country community and we help each other, but I don't know every single person in Warrnambool and they're in my community.
But I highly doubt that in Warrnambool there wouldn't be one person that didn't know somebody in Warrnambool. I mean, there isn't one person who doesn't know anybody in the community.
But you don't have to know anyone when you move here to be in the community, because we moved into Warrnambool and thought, oh, well, this is a nice countryside, and we made lots of friends.
There's more than one community in the town, like people are saying, like Warrnambool's a community. Like you could go to church and that's one community, or you could do cricket or football or something, that could be another community. And also you live in the Warrnambool community and the Victorian community and the Australian community and the world community. So you can be in much more than one community.
You got to live somewhere, and where you live, it's got a place, a name, that I think you don't have to be in a community if you don't want to.
Like nobody lived around you or anything, and you just had all these crops and had a well and everything, so you didn't need to go anywhere to shops or anything. And you just lived in a little place out of town where nobody else lived. You wouldn't be in a community and you wouldn't need anybody.
I disagree with that, because everyone's in a world community, even if you live in the sea.
Well, how come countries and towns and things have wars?
There's got to be some enemies. There's no community without enemies in it.
If I saw somebody getting bashed up by a big man or something, you wouldn't like go over and say, hey, stop bashing up this person, because he'd probably bash up you, but you just feel inclined to help people in your community.
If you're in Melbourne or something, and if you saw someone doing that, you'd go and help them too, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it'd be more hustle and bustle, and you'd kind of you'd not notice it as much.
But if you saw someone lying on the footpath in Melbourne, you wouldn't just drive past him.
Have you been to Melbourne before? Yeah. Well, it's like you see people on the streets, just sitting on the streets, and they sleep there. But you don't go up there and help them, do you?
Yeah, but you wouldn't do that in Warrnambool either, would you?
I think in Warrnambool people would be closer than in Melbourne, because there's so many people in Melbourne, they probably just take it for granted.
The smaller it is, the more you want to help, and the bigger it is, the less you want to help.